Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a part 2 video. Some time ago I filmed a video talking about my best and worst bronzers and you guys really loved that video. So I wanted to give you guys a part 2 video because I have quite a few bronzers that I've added to my collection. So today we're going to talk about my favorite bronzers that are especially good for darker skin. Before we get started talking about my favorite bronzers for deeper skin, I did want to let you guys know that this video is a collaboration with GoCashBack. GoCashBack is the fastest growing rebate website where you can earn up to 40% on your purchases. 40%. That's like a 40% sale. Just so you know. If you use my link that I'll have down in the description box, you'll get an extra $10 for registering. Once you have made purchases and your available cash balance reaches $20, you'll be able to withdraw the $20 plus your $10 that you get for registering using the link down below. So that's $30. That's $30 cash back. They offer cash back for stores like Sephora. One of the reasons why I'm telling you guys about it now is because we're going to be talking about a lot of makeup and you may want to head on over to Sephora's website. So if you purchase some of these bronzers at Sephora, you might as well get some cash back for your purchase. Sephora, Bergdorf Goodman, Neiman Marcus, just to name a few. These are some of the stores that they have cash back for. I'm all about shopping and getting my cash back. If I'm going to be online making purchases, I might as well get some of my money back. That's how I see it. Because I'm going to be online making purchases. That's always going to happen. One of the good things is all you have to do is download the Google extension for GoCashBack. Once you get that extension installed, you will automatically be alerted anytime you're on a merchant site where GoCashBack is available. Nothing's worse than making a purchase and forgetting to activate your cash back and you don't get your money back. Nothing's worse than that. Well, there's probably some things that's worse than that, but you guys know what I'm saying. So just check out the link down below, register and sign up for GoCashBack so that you can get your cash back. So let's go ahead and talk about my favorite bronzers that are especially good for deeper skin tones. I had such a good time filming my previous bronzer video. I have just kind of fallen in love with bronzers and I filmed a lot of videos about bronzers. I've done a lot of reviews on bronzers. So be sure to click the subscribe button and then go and visit some of my other videos and check out those videos if you're just interested in learning more about all of the different bronzers that I have reviewed here on my channel. At some point in this video, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite brushes. To get the proper color payoff, I think the brush makes a difference, so we'll talk about that. And I'm also going to share another secret that I think really helps make your bronzer pop. So we'll talk about that at the end of this video. I also never try to rank my bronzers because I just can't. I have a favorite and I'll tell you guys my absolute favorite at the end, but as far as ranking the others, it's just really hard to do that. So I don't try anymore. I have a good mix here of affordable bronzers as well as high-end. I only have one bronzer here that I didn't love because I returned anything else that I bought recently that I didn't like. I just said I'm not keeping it. So I'll try to remember to mention any bronzers that I can think of that I actually returned because they didn't work for me. So first let's talk about my Fenty bronzers. These are new to my collection. Most of these are bronzers that I've purchased since that first video. So here are my Fenty bronzers. And you guys saw me do a review on these. I can never pronounce this one, but I think it is Bajan Gyal. You guys tell me if I got it right this time. Bajan Gyal. But this is a warmer bronzer and it is not the deepest shade in this line. There are 3 shades darker than this bronzer, but I picked it up because I just like the warmth of the bronzer. Look at how kind of red and earthy. It's a warm color. It is matte and it is gorgeous on someone my complexion or lighter. I wouldn't say to purchase this one if you are much darker than me. So maybe a couple of shades darker, like a little bit darker than me, you could still get by with this one. But if you have really deep skin, I wouldn't try this. But this looks really, really pretty on my skin tone. The other one I picked up was Coco Naughty, and there's a Caramel Cutie shade in between these two, but I didn't pick it up because I have another caramel shade, and I'll talk to you guys about that one. So this is Coco Naughty. So you can tell Coco Naughty is deeper. And again, someone deeper than me would really be able to wear this one. I may have to use this space up here too. They're just some of the most beautiful matte bronzers, like really, really matte and just gorgeous on the skin. You have to build the color up, which means you won't be as heavy-handed and go overboard when using these bronzers. I certainly recommend this. It is amazing bronzer. So definitely beautiful on deeper skin. I have a warmer bronzer and then a deeper one, but these are more affordable. These are by Radiance, and they look like they've been through some things. The packaging isn't the best. They're affordable, but these two bronzing powders are amazing. And they're just called pressed powders, and they have a matte finish, and they're oil-free. But most people use these as bronzers, and that's what I use them for, and I am wearing these today. I started with this shade. This is Cafe, and then I added a little bit of Rich Mahogany just around the edges here and here. I added Rich Mahogany, but I have mostly Cafe on, and these are so, so good. Oh my goodness, so good. So let's also swatch these here. I'm gonna go above, guys, just because I didn't use this space. Cafe looks like a dupe for Coco Naughty, doesn't it? And that's the lighter shade, and here is the deeper one. So Cafe, Rich Mahogany. And these were not the deepest shades that Radiance makes. There are some that are deeper. I highly recommend them. They're like less than $5, I think, at Walmart, and they are so good. Can't believe that they're drugstore. I can't believe it. But they're good, guys. You need to jump on it. I'm wearing them today. Yes, I am. Let's go back to a high end. These two are also pretty new in my collection. I have Hoola Toasted and Caramel, and I reviewed these on my channel. Let's try to swatch here Caramel. And I love this. Oh my goodness. One of my favorites. I just like it for my skin. It just seems to be really pretty. I have more of a yellow neutral undertone, and it's really, really pretty. Here is Toasted, and it is much deeper than Caramel. Kudos to Benefit for coming up with these deeper shades. They are beautiful. And the way I use these, I would maybe put Caramel everywhere, and then if I needed to deepen my bronzer in certain spots, I might deepen it with this shade. But certainly if you have darker skin than me, this is a beautiful shade. It has more red in it. Again, this is more brown, golden in color, the Caramel, but oh, so, so good, guys. Definitely loving these bronzers. Like, I have really picked up a lot of bronzers that have been so good this year. Another one that is affordable that I love, another affordable one, this is the City bronzer, and it's the deepest shade, is the shade 300. It is a matte bronzer, and it is one of those bronzers that when you see it here, you think that is not going to be dark enough for me, but I'm like, I'm gonna try it anyway because I'd heard good things about it. And I was stunned by how deep it is and how much it shows up on my skin. So let's swatch that one here. And it almost looks a little bit like Beijing Gyal. It looks a little bit like that, doesn't it, guys? Look at it here. And then this is Beijing Gyal on my other arm. So this is a dupe. A lot of times when I do these videos, I always find my dupes. This is a dupe for the Fenty Beijing Gyal. Is this shade, and I love it. Like, oh. Before I talk about my next bronzers, I want to share some other products that I think you should consider using in your routine that help to deepen the perimeter of your face. Okay, and remember, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you guys a tip that I really think helps give you that very contoured, bronzed look. Products that I also use that I really think help make me look really bronzed and just chiseled are just contour sticks. And contour sticks to me really make your look just deepen. It just deepens the look in the places where you need it. But they are really not that, they're not that dramatic, because once you blend them out, you know, they really blend out, but they're not overly dramatic as far as how they look on the skin. But they just add a little something that makes your look just come together. So I'm just gonna put this one here. It's a cream, but look at the warmth there. But it kind of, to me, looks like a bronzer. And this is my contour stick from Makeup Revolution, and it was really, really affordable. And this is my Anastasia Beverly Hills in Truffle, and Fenty has one as well. I use that too, but it's not a favorite of mine. But this Truffle one I love using to contour with, and it's a foundation stick. So if you can find you a foundation stick, whether it's this Makeup Forever like contour stick, this foundation stick, or some other foundation sticks that are more affordable, you can kind of enhance your bronzed look by applying this before you put on your powder. And speaking of powder, that's another thing that I do that I think really helps give me a really bronzed look, is I use these deeper powders. I have one by Cover FX as well as one by Laura Mercier, and let me open it up so you can see what I'm talking about here. They look like this, and they have a deeper tone to them. It's a translucent powder, but they are deeper. Cover FX is called Translucent Deep, and the Laura Mercier is Medium Deep. And what I do is I will take my little powder brush and I will apply the deeper powder all around the perimeter of my face before I bronze. And it kind of gives you a bronzed look even before you apply bronzer. If you're fairer than me, then these can really act as a bronzer. It's like a loose bronzer. So if you have fair skin, that would be a good way to powder your face and to bronze the skin, is purchasing one of these deeper powders. So those are two things that I do that kind of enhance my bronzer and really help make the bronzer look really good. So let's move on, and I'll give some more tips later on in the video, but let's talk about some more bronzers. So I paused for a moment and added a little cami underneath my shirt because my shirt was acting up. So we're going to continue now. This is probably the newest bronzer that I added to my collection. This is the Cover FX Monochromatic Bronzer in Suntan Bronze, and it looks like this. And I can't get enough of this bronzer. I love it so much. So let's just use this bronzer part, because I don't think I'll be able to swatch the, oh, look how easy that swatched. Oh my gosh, beautiful. I'm not sure. I'll try to swatch the shimmer part here. Okay, there you go. What I noticed, I really like the bronzer part better than this other side. I will add that on to add a little bit of sheen, but it's not all that necessary. But I do use that part whenever I bronze. I use them together, but I like the bronzer the best. It is just so rich and beautiful on my skin, and I love it. So one of my favorites by far. I haven't taken this bronzer out of the rotation. It sits on my vanity. That's how much I love it. It's one of those perfect shades. Another bronzer that I want to talk about that I don't think I mentioned in my last video, but it is not new to my collection, is this one by It Cosmetics. This is kind of a bronzer blush highlighter trio. And I love the bronzer in this. I love using it all, but this is well loved, and I actually have a backup of it. When I first got this, it looked like highlighter, blush, and bronzer, but now it's kind of unrecognizable. So let's take a look at the bronzer here. I'm gonna go back to the other side and see if I have space here. Yeah. Ooh, let's see if I can get bronzer and not bronzer and blush. It kind of doesn't, I don't know if it's because the blush is mixing in with it. So it's hard to really sell you guys on this one, but I promise you it is gorgeous. I love this, and I'm not able to get it to really swatch to show you guys how deep it looks. I don't know if you can tell, but it just is beautiful on. I love this bronzer and I often forget about it sometimes. I have moved on to so many others that I forget about this one, but there was a time when I was wearing this out. This one is the darkest shade. It is Instant Warm Glow. The trio just gives you a stunning look. I love some more affordable bronzers. Butter bronzers. Ah, they're some of my favorites, I'm telling you. This one is the Sculpting Bronzer, and I did not review this one here on my channel. I filmed a video talking about the new butter bronzers. I didn't have this one in my collection at the time. But this Sculpting Bronzer is gorgeous, and then this one is the Endless Summer Bronzer. This one, I think, in the lineup is the deepest one, the Sculpting Bronzer, and this one is next to deepest. But they both seem to be equally deep. They're just different. So let's swatch them here. If I can... I may start swatching on my chest. This is Sculpting, and it just seems to be more neutral. And then this one is Endless Summer. And just excuse my breakout. Like, I keep breaking out on my chest. And I don't usually put bronzer on my chest, but I've been breaking out on my chest lately. Okay, so there they are. So if you have one, you do not need the other. Okay, but this is Sculpting and this is Endless Summer. I'm going to cover up my breakout. And Endless Summer just seems to have a little more red in it to me. And this is more of a neutral brown. Whenever I apply these butter bronzers, either one of them, I'm just like, oh, they are so beautiful on the skin because they have that sheen. You know, there is an applicator in the compartment with a mirror. So if you don't have a brush, you can have something to apply this with. But they are so good. And I'm so happy that Physicians Formula finally came out with deeper shades. They are amazing. The Anastasia Beverly Hills, I believe I talked about this one before. This contour kit is something that you should definitely have in your collection that will really just help you deepen your bronzed contour look. But this particular shade is one of the warmer colors in the contour kit that I really like using. A contour kit of some sort is a must-have, but another contour kit that I've always loved here is the Shade and Light contour kit. The packaging is amazing, and this is also wonderful. These are the first two contour kits that I purchased, and I really think that I hit it out of the park just by buying these two. They are the best. I also like some other palettes that I think are good that help you when you're bronzing the skin. This one is from Sephora. It is the Spice Market Blush Palette, and the shade I wanted to mention is this shade here. It is supposed to be for contour, but it is really warm. It's deep, but it is very, very warm, guys. You see how warm that is? It sort of has some red in it. If you have deeper skin and you struggle to find bronzers that really, really work, like if your skin is darker or contour products, this is pretty deep and red in the pigment. I would definitely say this Spice Market is one to pick up, and it is the Sephora brand, so it is more affordable than a lot of other products. Another one that is sort of like that is the It's My Ray Ray palette, and it has this gorgeous bronze. These are like contour products, so this contour is more like from maybe my complexion or lighter, and then this shade here is for a person who is even deeper. Look how dark that is. Do you see how dark that is, guys? Okay, It's My Ray Ray. So yes, if you have darker skin, those are some products that you may want to add in to your bronzer mix. They're not for bronzing, but they just help deepen your contour areas and help, like, you can just blend them in with the bronzer and just get an amazing look. I also have Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder here. This is so little and it is so expensive, and it is a sculpting powder that can be for contouring, bronzing, or whatever you need, but it's more of a contour because you see how it has that grayer undertone. Love it. It is the cutest little travel-friendly product, so I am so happy I have that too. So I just want to tell you guys about those products as well. Those are all of my newer products that I haven't mentioned before. I thought about the bronzers that I talked about in my first video that were like my favorites, and I just wanted to stress that one more time. The Bobbi Brown bronzers are so, so good. and I talked about them in the first video. I'm not going to swatch them again because I swatched them in that video, and this one is dark and this one is deep. I have both of them, and they are gorgeous matte bronzers. Every time I use those bronzers and then I look in the mirror, like if I leave my beauty room and go look in the mirror in my bathroom, I'm like, oh, those bronzers are so good. They just really stand out to me. This one is my probably favorite. I think this is my favorite drugstore bronzer, and this is that Pro Bronzer by Absolute New York, and it is so warm and gorgeous, and it has like a little bit of a shimmer, and it is like $8, and I love it. And finally, this Becca Ipanema Sun bronzer is another one that is a favorite, and I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this one somewhere because it is my favorite. It is still my favorite bronzer, guys. Like I told you guys I was going to tell you my favorite bronzer. This one is my favorite bronzer. The Ipanema Sun and the Absolute New York bronzer are my favorites, and they kind of remind me of each other. Those are my favorites, but all of the other ones I have shared, I still love so much. A bronzer that didn't work for me, that is affordable, is this one by Ruby Kisses. And it's a mineral powder. It may just be the color or something. And I don't know why I didn't really like it. It's not that it's not deep enough. It is. Well, see, maybe that's what it is. This particular one, it looks really deep in the pan. But then when you put it on, I feel like I have to continue to build up in order to see it. So that may be why I don't like it. That it just doesn't show up that much. But look how dark this looks in the pan, and then look at it beside this one that looks lighter. Don't be deceived by how dark it looks in the pan. It shows up better than this one by Ruby Kisses. So sometimes it's maybe the consistency of the powder. I don't know what it is, but not every powder that looks dark in the pan is dark on your skin. So don't be deceived. Another bronzer that I used that I didn't end up liking was this ambient bronzer by Hourglass. I ordered the deepest color and it didn't show up very well on my skin, so I ended up returning that one. I got better at selecting bronzers, and I haven't had as many issues with choosing bronzers that will show up on my skin. Those are all of my updates as far as the bronzers that I'm loving right now that I think are really good for deeper skin. And again, if you struggle with finding the deeper bronzers, I think it's a good idea to purchase one of the contour kits, and they kind of will help deepen and define your contour areas and just bring the whole look together. These are kind of my favorite bronzer brushes, and I rotate between all of them. The first one that I want to tell you guys about is this Pro Angled Blush Brush from Sephora. I think it's number 49. I used this one today to bronze my skin. And why I like this bronzer brush is because I've talked about it several times, but because it is angled and you put it on like this, it keeps it really concentrated in this area, but it sort of fans out, like it diffuses any of the bronzer at the top here because of the angle. So it just diffuses the look and it just applies it perfectly. So I love applying bronzer with this angled brush. It's gorgeous. I also like this Pro Precision Powder Brush from Sephora. It is the 59 brush, and this one is bigger and fluffier, and so you're gonna get a more all over bronze look, meaning like it's not so defined because you can kind of get bigger areas with it. So this is great, and it is an animal haired brush, but it is amazing. And I like my Tom Ford brushes. These are both animal hair from when they used animal hair, but now they make these brushes as synthetic. So if you purchase them now, you'll get synthetic brushes, but these are really good. This one is like a cheek brush, and this is a bronzer brush. And again, this is kind of going to give you more of an all over bronze look. And this one is much more precise and defined, like more contoured look. And some honorable mentions are these Fenty brushes. I got these when I got the Fenty bronzer. This one gives you more of a chiseled contour look, and this one diffuses everything. They're synthetic brushes, but they're pretty good if you're looking for bronzer brushes. And for contour, I like using this Kat Von D Shade and Light brush. I just like this one, and so I'll apply like my Kevyn Aucoin powder and a lot of my contour powders with this one, and then I'll brighten under the eye and down the center of my face with this side here. But definitely these two from Sephora. So brushes are really important whenever you're bronzing the skin. Don't go out and buy your bronzer and then keep applying it with a really terrible brush. It doesn't mean that it has to be expensive. These happen to be high-end brushes, but they do need to be effective. So don't assume that your bronzer is terrible if you can't get the color payoff and you can't get the look you want. Sometimes you may just need another brush. My tip for really making your bronzer pop is to use concealer. I have seen people review bronzers and they didn't use concealer to highlight their face, and the bronzer to me didn't look that fantastic. I'm like, what's the point? I honestly could never understand the point of adding bronzer if you don't use concealer. And this is for people who have deeper skin. If you have fair skin, I don't think it matters, because you are putting something that's sort of brown on a paler face. It doesn't matter if you highlight with concealer or not. But if you are putting something that is brown on a already brown face, it is hard to make bronzer really pop on the skin if the canvas is already just brown and flat. But if you highlight with concealer like I have here today, it makes the bronzer show up even more. It gives you contrast on your face when you have concealer on in the center of your face, and then you bronze the perimeter. It just gives that look that you are probably trying to achieve. So if you buy bronzer and you just apply it and you didn't highlight with concealer, it may not look the way you see other YouTubers looking. You know, if you watch YouTube, you like the way it looks, but you don't apply the concealer, you may never get that look. Use like a translucent powder to brighten right here in the center, and then add your bronzer, and the look should come together. So I know I look all marked up. I know I do. I hope all this bronzer comes off my neck. This is an update, and I hope that you all have enjoyed it, and happy hunting finding a bronzer that will really work with you and your skin and your undertone and the deep color of your skin. Let's just say that these brands are doing a better job of coming out with bronzers for deeper skin. And again, many of the bronzers that I've shared with you today, there are some shades that are deeper than the ones that I purchased. These are the ones that work for my skin, and you'll have to check that out to see if they make deeper shades. But I do know that some of these companies make some darker shades than these. So that's all I have for you today, and I hope that you all have enjoyed it. Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys again very soon in my next video. So until the next time we meet again, this is Savvy, signing out.